The Chronicon, Part 3. Entry number 1120, recorded by Scribe Shagak. It came to pass that, after gathering their army of shadows, rebuilding their fleet, and making a more permanent home of the Sol system, the great Emperor Callus and his shadow received messages from the Vanguard of Earth and the war machine Rasputin. These messages read, "Remove your forces from our planets and moons, or we will respond with deadly force." But Emperor Callus had seen death at the edge of the universe and was not afraid, for these figureheads and their war machine were not death. The Emperor Callus, in his wisdom and mercy, permitted his Shadow of Earth to sit down to negotiations with the Earth Vanguard. Although the Shadow of Earth spoke of the Emperor and his knowledge of the common end, the Earth Vanguard were so attached to their worldly struggles that they could not hear. They declared war. The Shadow of Earth rose with such a suppressed fury that neither the Emperor nor his advisors had ever seen before. Shuddering with rage, the Shadow of Earth spake thus. "Who do you think I am? Without me, you have only a dwindling army of ambivalent soldiers. I am the young wolf. I killed the Taken King. I defeated Gaul. I aroused the Traveler. I silenced the moon. I stopped the invasion, and I broke the curse. I broke the houses. I killed the queen. I am the Shadow of Earth." In the following silence, the Shadow of Earth continued gravely. "The end is coming. Consider you and your people warned." As a courtesy, the Vanguard of Earth were permitted to leave the Leviathan unharmed, and the Shadow of Earth gathered the Loyalist forces. After the reclamation of the Athenaeum World X, which held in it the secrets of one of the most advanced predators in the system, the Aphelion, which had the power to devastate whole worlds at the blink of an eye, the Shadow was able to use this lost knowledge to rebuild the Loyalist fleet stronger and more magnificent than ever. With the renewed ships of the Loyalist fleet, the Shadow of Earth led an attack on the War Machine's seat of power, the region of Hellas Basen on the planet Mars. The battle was much less a war than a single, unmatched attack that left the war machine Rasputin in cinders. It was at this time that the Vanguard of Earth surrendered and begged for mercy, a request which was denied by the Shadow of Earth. Entry number 1125, forthcoming, recorded by Scribe Exult. When the great Emperor Callus and his Shadow of Earth had nearly conquered the system, the Leviathan was rocked by a great disturbance. Royal mechanics reported that, in the inner rooms of the ship, a strange rift had opened, and from it came the acrid stench of hive ritual pyres. "I am Savathun, and I am death." It was through this rift that Savathun, the Witch Queen, allowed her monstrous children to pour into the belly of the great ship and flood its corridors with their clicking and skittering. A great many of the Leviathan's inhabitants were filled with dread and fright. While this coward invents his histories and futures, I wait. These messages are my gift to you. But the great Emperor Callus had seen death at the edge of the universe, and he was not afraid, for this witch and her spawn were not death. Said the laughing Emperor to his beloved Shadow of Earth. "Remove the wretch Savathun from my hallways. I have no use for her or her children. So consumed are they by their tragic hunger, the hive would cast a weak shadow. Erase them from the great horizon that awaits us, for they have no place at my table when the end comes." And so, the Shadow of Earth exterminated the children of Savathun. When the mother herself sought to slither back into the hole from whence he'd come, the Shadow of Earth followed her to her throne and slew her there, to die her final death. A note to Scribe Shagag. Please be advised that, although our great Emperor knows the shape of the future very well, we cannot presume its texture. Refrain from making such sweeping, grandiose assumptions about unknowable technologies, like those of the Athenaeum worlds. It will save us a great deal of rewriting later. Delete this footnote upon the actualization of the history and the appropriate corrections made to Scribe Shagok's record. Entry number 1135, recorded by Scribe Shagok. And it was in this way that the great Emperor Callus conquered his enemies with his shadow of earth at his side. There was a great rejoicing, for the struggle to evade the sharp edge of the end of the world was over, and the people of this system could at last breathe and live and love in the shadow of their ever-present doom. Now, royal wine flows freely for the friends of the Emperor, and the planetoid of Nessus has its eternal home at the Emperor's table, forever immortalized as a symbol of celebration. Following the destruction of the war machine Rasputin, the Shadow of Earth recreated the region of Halys Bassan into a monument to the might and beauty of the great Emperor Callus. The unsightly Braytech futurescape was demolished and remade into the Temple of Revelry, where all in this system come to celebrate the accomplishments of the great Emperor, and the blemished red sands of Mars were reformed into a vast, sulphurous mudflat, suitable for wallowing at leisure. On Earth, humanity celebrates the Feast of Emperor Callus, a day of jubilation and thanksgiving. Children wear golden masks of the Emperor's fine visage and reenact the story of how he remade this system in the shadow of the end of the world. The people rejoice! Emperor Callus has brought freedom and conviviality to the worlds of this system. Note to my dearest scribe Exult. A lack of imagination is a crime far worse than any small exaggeration meant to uphold and approach the glory of our beloved Emperor. History is made as much in the writing as it is in the living. Entry number 1142, forthcoming, recorded by Scribe Exult. The great revelation, which the Emperor Callus received at the end of the universe, was described by the Emperor to his royal scribes. His description is indeed what came to pass, and is happening now, 118 years after the Emperor brought liberty to the Sol system. First, a veil of darkness descended on all the worlds of this universe, such that the people of these worlds looked into the sky and saw only night. All worlds, no matter their natural or synthetic geographies or climate, grew cold. The people of these worlds, having been subjected to the strangeness and adversity, began to grow afraid and suspicious of one another. Many deaths occurred in this intervening time before the end. Next, a great war broke out across all varieties of civilization. Be they naturally war-minded or peaceful, this warring, which goes on even now, is due to a futile desire to postpone the end of things when no such deferment can possibly occur. As such, the civilizations of the Sol system do not partake, for they accept the coming end as shown to them by their beloved Emperor. Even so, these good creatures are not exempt from the miserable clawing of others, who trash blindly against the inevitable end. But we know from the words of the great Emperor, the suffering will end. Death will soon arrive to the universe and claim all of it for itself. This will be the end of everything, all living things and non-living things, all that is real or theoretical. The last to see it, to see death as it consumes everything in this world, will be the great Emperor himself. Entry number 1143, forthcoming, written by the great Emperor Callus. I stand now, alone, at the end of the world. As I stare over this dark edge, which I have anticipated for so many years, eager, hopeful, I wonder if I was too impatient for it. I do not wish it away, no, but I am faced with accepting that ushering in the blessed, long-awaited ends means an ultimate goodbye to you, old friend. You and I were always connected. The threads of fate strung us together and tightened, drawing us ever closer, however slowly, and I realize now that, even before we found each other, you were a presence in my life. Time is such a strange, twisting thing, and I see my past so differently. When I was alone in the prison room of the Leviathan, you were there, as well, building my menagerie, creating a monument to all that we could and would do. When I met the Void, you were there, somewhere in those phantom whispers, my companion in bringing forth the inevitable end of the world. Even before I knew you, I searched for you. I was searching for you when I found my first shadows. I was mourning your absence when they filled. And yes, my shadow, the search was exquisite. The wait was bliss. But the moment I found you, the completion of my design, it was pure delight. You helped me reclaim what was lost when the Empire fell to the Red Legion. More than that, you helped me build beyond it. We took this system together. Together, we created a new world in the mere moments before it ended. And though our time was short, it was not wasted. You were not wasted. I am proud that you were the last one at my side when end came. There is no one else I would have chosen to stand by me. Thank you, my shadow. Thank you for your sacrifice. This was the end of the Chronicon. Real and fictional entries in the Chronicon of the Emperor Callus. Starting next week, I will upload the books a whole. This means no more separate parts, but one complete audiobook. Thank you very much for listening, Guardian. A subscribe and like would be highly appreciated to help me grow this channel. If you would like to stay in touch, or if you have any tips or feedback, I would love to hear them. Go check out the links in the description of this video to see how you can contact me. Somewhere at the end of next week, I will upload the audio lore book Confessions. Stay safe, Guardian, and I'll see you Starside.